5 minutes ago, all 7 BTS members were finally together in New York. Yes, all 7. RM, Jin, SUGA, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. Together. Around the same table. Sharing a dinner, just hours before another huge BTS moment was about to unfold. And honestly, after everything these 7 members have been through, this simple scene feels much bigger than it looks. There was no giant stage, no fireworks, no massive choreography, no screaming stadium crowd, just BTS OT7 together again. And that is exactly why ARMY are paying attention. Because this wasn't simply another BTS photo from New York. It arrived at a very important moment. The members are in the New York area for their highly anticipated ARIRANG concerts at MetLife Stadium. The shows are scheduled for August 1st and August 2nd. And while thousands of ARMY are preparing to fill the stadium, the 7 members were seen sharing a much quieter moment together. A dinner. A normal human moment. Before an extraordinary night. Take a breath. And think about that for a second. Jungkook is there. V is there. Jimin is there. J-Hope is there. SUGA is there. Jin is there. And RM is there. All 7. OT7. After such a long journey, they are sitting together again. And maybe that is the most emotional part of this entire story. Because BTS fans know that seeing all 7 members together has not always been something they could take for granted. There were years when OT7 moments felt completely normal. 7 members appearing together. 7 members performing together. 7 members laughing together. 7 members traveling together. Then life changed. The members entered different chapters. Individual schedules became more important. Solo music began taking center stage. And military service created an even longer period where fans had to wait for the complete group to return. During that time, each member continued building his own story. RM had his own artistic journey. Jin had his own projects. SUGA continued his work as a producer and artist. J-Hope kept creating and performing. Jimin released his own music. V explored his own artistic direction. And Jungkook continued to grow into an even bigger global solo artist. They were still BTS. But the everyday image of 7 members together became much rarer. That is why moments like this hit differently now. They don't just see a dinner. They see the return of something they have been waiting for. They see history. They see friendship. They see 7 people who have spent more than a decade growing together. And now, they are sitting around a table in New York. But there is something else that makes the timing fascinating. The dinner happened right before BTS returned to one of the biggest stages of their ARIRANG journey, MetLife Stadium. Just imagine the difference. At dinner, the members can sit close together. They can talk. They can eat. They can laugh. They can simply be themselves. But when they walk onto that stage, everything changes. Thousands of lights. Thousands of voices. Massive screens. Huge production. And an entire stadium waiting for one group. BTS. The quiet dinner. And then the stadium. That contrast is incredible. And perhaps this is why the dinner moment feels like the calm before the storm. Before the noise. Before the lights. Before the first song. Before ARMY begins screaming their names. There is just OT7. Together. In New York. And New York itself is already buzzing with BTS energy. The city has been surrounded by activities connected to BTS The City ARIRANG New York, bringing BTS-related experiences and fan activities into different parts of the city. So this isn't simply a normal weekend in New York. For ARMY, the entire city has become part of the experience. Fans are traveling in. Hotels are filling up. Merchandise is everywhere. People are meeting other ARMY. Photos are being taken. And everywhere you look, there is anticipation. Everyone knows what is coming. BTS is about to take over MetLife Stadium. But before that happens, the members themselves found time to sit down together. And there is something beautiful about that. Because the biggest BTS moments are not always the loudest ones. Sometimes, they're incredibly quiet. Sometimes, they happen when nobody is performing. Sometimes, they happen around a dinner table. And that is what makes this image so interesting. We can see the members together. We can see the atmosphere. We can see that they're enjoying a meal. But there is something we cannot see. Their conversation. What were they talking about? Were they discussing the upcoming concert? Were they talking about their travels? Were they laughing about something that happened earlier? Were they simply enjoying their food? We don't know. And we shouldn't pretend that we do. There has been no confirmed information revealing exactly what the members discussed during the dinner. And honestly, maybe that's okay. Because sometimes leaving that part unknown makes the moment even more special. ARMY can look at the image and imagine what that table sounded like. Maybe Jin was making everyone laugh. Maybe J-Hope was bringing energy to the conversation. Maybe RM was talking about something interesting. Maybe SUGA was quietly listening. Maybe Jimin was joking around. Maybe V was enjoying the atmosphere. Maybe Jungkook was simply relaxing after a busy schedule. Those are possibilities, not confirmed facts. But the one thing we don't have to imagine is that they were together, all seven. That is visible. And that is enough. Because after years of waiting, OT7 doesn't need an elaborate announcement. Sometimes, one photo is enough. One moment is enough. One dinner is enough. And perhaps that is why this particular moment has such emotional weight. Think about everything that had to happen for this scene to exist. Years of work. Years of global tours. Years of music. Years of personal growth. Years of pressure. Years of individual schedules. Years of waiting. And now, all seven are in New York. The story has moved forward. BTS has returned to the road. The ARIRANG era is happening in real time. And the members are once again creating memories together. That is something worth appreciating. Because BTS's return isn't simply about releasing music again. It's about seeing these seven people return to the relationship that made their group chemistry so special. It's about seeing them interact, laugh, travel, perform, and simply exist together. That's why the phrase OT7 means so much to ARMY. It isn't just 7 letters. It's a feeling. It's the feeling of completeness. And in New York. But here's where this story gets even more interesting. This dinner was not happening at the end of a long tour. It was happening just before the next major chapter. MetLife Stadium. August 1st. August 2nd. 2 nights. One massive audience. And an entirely different atmosphere waiting for them. So remember this quiet moment. Because soon, the same 7 people sitting around a dinner table will be standing in front of an enormous stadium. The same Jungkook who is sitting casually with the members will soon be standing under stage lights. The same V who is sharing this quiet moment will soon hear thousands of ARMY voices. Jimin will be surrounded by cameras. J-Hope will be performing. SUGA will be back in front of a massive crowd. Jin will be making memories with the members and fans. And RM will once again stand at the center of a BTS stadium performance. 7 people. 1 stage. Thousands of ARMY. That transition is almost impossible to ignore. And there is another detail that makes the New York chapter even more significant. BTS has already performed at MetLife Stadium during the FIFA World Cup final halftime show earlier this summer. Now, they are coming back. But this time, the stadium is theirs. The spotlight is theirs. The concert is theirs. And ARMY are waiting specifically for BTS. That makes this return feel even more special. New York has already seen BTS on one of the biggest global sporting stages. Now the city is preparing to see the group headline its own massive concert. And before all of that, the 7 members are sitting down for dinner.